All right. I'm waiting for the click, you guys. Once I get the click, I will be good to go. And I'm waiting if the click is going to work. There's the click. There it goes. Okay. We are on. Good morning. It is April 3rd, 2025. A lot of April Fool jokes out there, you guys. Really appreciated them. Thank you very much. Benny the pup is he's coming along. Right now I'm dealing with the cats. I think my cats have caught colds, respiratory. I'm going to make an appointment for them to get checked out. They've got insurance, so might as well use it, right? Hardest part is catching the damn cats to get to the vet. And year after year, I get beat up, scratched up, all of my arms and stuff just to deal with the animals. But I'm going to tell you guys that have animals, please. I know it's another bill, and I know you love your animals. Trust me, as they get older, and they're going to need certain things and certain treatments and stuff that you might not have. Let's say cancer treatments, whatever. Depending what kind of insurance you've got, your insurance will cover it. My 17-year-old cat Misty, she is 17 years old, right? She's a tuxie. She's a tuxedo cat. She's the most expensive animal that I have. Okay, her insurance is $140 a month. Okay, more than mine. It's just as much as mine. And the younger they are, the cheaper the insurance. The older they are, the more the insurance, right? Especially if you got a very active dog like I have, or an active animal. Trust me, you're going to use it. You're going to use an insurance. You don't use it on the front end. You're going to get it on the back end. So Misty being 17 years old and paying all this money that I've paid, it's going to even out. But most likely, Misty is going to die of old age. So she's probably not going to get a lot of medical treatment. Those of you guys that have cats, please invest in a water fountain, a cat fountain, okay? And if you can buy them for like 30, 40 bucks if you want the metal ones that have a little stream that falls and stuff. But you could make them. All you got to do is get like a big bowl, right, and a aerator compressor, for a fish tank. Put that in there, does the same exact thing, and that's what my animals use. So it's been a minute since I've been here. I've been very, very busy. I live in the desert, as you guys know, near March Air Reserve Base. Speaking of which, the 12th and 13th, we are having an air show at the reserve base over here at March. Those of you guys that are in the Air Force, you guys know anybody that was anybody commanded at March Air Force Base, okay? You're talking about Hap Arnold, Tooey Spats, Curtis LeMay. They all, anybody that has a name, originated or were stationed here at one time in their career. Me, myself, I was stationed there. See, so it's very, very important. That's a very important base. But we have an air show about every 2 years, and the Thunderbirds are going to be there. Of course, given the weather, it should be good to go, but there's been a couple of times where they had to cancel because the weather wasn't great. But the Thunderbirds are going to be here. The C-17 demonstration team is going to be here. Static display, C-130s, B-52s, KC-135s, Army. I'm not sure if the Army parachute team going to be here. I hope they do. Those guys are pretty cool when they do their thing. Every 2 years we have this, and we're the only mobility base in Southern California, right? Active mobility, well, not even active, we're a reserve mobility base in Southern California. So, hey, so so here at this base we have, I think, 16 KC-135 stationed here and 8 C-17s. So a lot of space safe flight. Well, not a lot of space safe flights, but you can catch space safe flights from here, go into Travis. Then Travis is a bigger gate. Then you can go out to wherever you want to go. So that's pretty much how it runs when they have space safe flights. I personally go down to North Island. They don't deal with all that space safe crap and going through the categories. If there's 40 seats available, let's say if there's 60 seats available and there's 40 people at the terminal, they say pack your shit, let's go, done. Going through the whole, it's just stupid. Just get your head count. If it's enough people, get them on board, let's go. So anyway, last air show we had over 250,000 people in the LA area and all our surrounding areas come up to my city, Moreno Valley, for that weekend. 250 over 250,000 people. They anticipate more this year, and that's great for business. That's great for things. But as a resident, it's not great because I live close to the base. So that means strange people are going to be parking at the park and in the neighborhood, and then they're going to try to walk to the base because I only you can literally walk to the base from where I live. Parking is going to be out of this world. The Lake Paris, which is a couple miles away, that's going to be packed as people are partying over there, and you can see the air show from there. I'll be sitting in my backyard watching the air show. I will get on my e-bike and ride on the flight line to see if I see any of my friends and family members. My sister-in-law is stationed over there, and just say hi to them, and I'm going to come back and watch the show from here to stay out of the traffic. But I'm definitely not going to get in my car that weekend, and going to have a great time. It's still kind of cold here. I got a lot of work to do. Benny ate through my AC wire system. I just fixed that the other day. It's all about priorities. I live in the desert. Summertime is coming. Priorities. I need my AC to work, period, or it's going to be a suffering summer. Got my fans up, new fans. AC is good, new capacitor, so it's pushing. I'm going to go up to my attic today, and I'll be 55 this year, and so I live by myself. So I kind of don't want to get up on top of things like when I was younger, because I'm just one fall away from catastrophe, broken hip, unconsciousness, whatever else happens. Benny's not trained enough yet to be the wonder dog Belle was. Okay, so, but I'm gonna get up there into the attic and check the solar fan there, and that will dissipate a lot of the heat up in the top. So if, these new homes don't really have much of attics, but the older homes do. So if you live in an older home like I do, you could get rid of 2 to 3% of your heat inside the house if you have attic vents and fans that push the hot air out from on top of your house and push it out. And I do that by solar, because we have a lot of solar here, and it really does help and impact. I didn't really run my AC that much last year. Blackout curtains help as well. And right now, my neighbors and myself, a lot of us, what we were doing, we're getting our yards ready. I have a desert landscape yard, so for those guys that don't know what a desert landscape yard is, it's just a yard that looks like the desert. It's more rocks, it's more succulents, cactus, just less water. For you guys in Georgia and places where you guys can spit on the ground and something will grow, you guys, it won't work for you guys. But out here in the West, it really does, and it saves, because we have water problems here, so it saves on water. And I installed a drip system, which Benny loves to dig up, and I'm breaking him out of that soon enough. If you guys see my backyard, if you guys notice my backyard, it's full of rocks and it's a desert landscape in the back, but I still have tropical trees and plants and fruit trees and stuff back there. So it just takes a minute to do all of that. So I've got the good old man T'Challa here, my black cat. He wants to be up under me, and he's been fighting, so he usually jumps up here to have me help pick off his sores where he can't reach them. And he's a good fighter. He's just he's just to himself. So anyway, like I was saying, we're getting older. Hey T'Challa, how are you, man? How you doing, man? Huh? You still fighting? You still fighting, you old man? He loves kisses. He's spoiled, you guys. He is spoiled, but he's very handsome. He's the Black Panther, and he was feral. He was a feral cat, and then he chose me. He said, "Hey, this idiot here will be a good mark to take care of me for the rest of my life," and that's how I got him. But what I want to talk about, we've had, see how I tried to palm me there? Don't you hit me. Don't you hit me. Uh, we've had some elections up in Illinois, April 1st. The super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, she was booted out of office, which is, man, I just don't know what's going on with these black women in leadership and how they're crashing out. And I'm not saying they're bad people. What I'm saying is, what is it about these titles that make people just they think they the title is them and it's just I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. Something about power to some people, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I get asked all the time, are you going to run for this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right? And you guys know I'm politically active. And I get offered to do some crazy stuff all the time. $25,000. The white, we call it here the white envelope. And I get asked and sometimes offered to do things, and I just won't do it. You know, yeah, I'm politically active. I'm on social media, but when social media becomes a job, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in being a millionaire. I'm not interested in any of that because I think I've come to the conclusion, and my conclusion is this. When I see a homeless person, I'm kind of envious of that homeless person. I feel sorry for him, but I'm kind of envious because there is nothing that is attaching that person to this earth. And when they're time to go meet God, there's nothing that they're going to keep here. Oh, I'm going to stay. A lot of people want to stay alive because of the toys they have. I believe that. Oh, my big man. I mean, look at these prosperity pastors. Oh, you get your mansion in heaven. You can get a Mercedes in heaven. You'll get that yacht in heaven. Ask yourself, use your common sense. If, number one, if heaven is anything like being down here, why would you want to go? And number two, if you even make it to heaven, because we're not all going to make it to heaven. A majority of us are not going to heaven. We will be, probably recreated here on the earth. Because if everybody's kings and queens, who do you rule over? Who do you rule over? But if heaven is anything like this, and if I do make it to heaven, why would I need a house? Why would I need a car? Why would I need roads? I wouldn't need any of that stuff. I'm in heaven. And I'd be happy praising all my days God, Even atheists believe in something. I was reading the Bible the other day, and I'm not a Bible thumper, but I was reading the other day at what a very jealous and vengeful God that we have and we serve. This dude has angels that all they do all day is worship him on his throne. They just sit there and you're the greatest, nobody can beat you, you're the man, such and such and such and such and such. Egomaniac. Even in the scriptures, he says, you put no God before me. And I'm not doing a sermon here. I'm just like blown away at how people interpret what they say is the Bible for different means, for different things. So I'm politically active, right? I know you guys are sick of it. And I'm glad everybody's calming down because, Trump ain't going nowhere. So everybody's calming down and starting to use their logic. If you are a believer, as I'm a believer, what we see going on all around politically here in the United States and around the world, wasn't this written about in the Bible? Children will go against their parents. There will be wars and rumors of war, corruption, pastors that are actually demons within the church, uh, pestilence, uh, like the COVID-19 things that were happening. I mean, all of this stuff, if you're a believer, all of this stuff is supposed to happen for the Bible to be true. So for those people that don't think the Bible is true, look at everything that's happened. Now, I'm going to talk about real quick in my lifetime. Remember when we were growing up in history, they sit there and read the history book. They say, well, you know, uh, William Harrison and then William Henry Harrison, father and son, or father and grand. That was father and grandson. Quincy Adams and John Quincy Adams, father and son. We've seen that in our lifetime, father and son. What's his name? Grover Cleveland. Non-consecutive presidencies. We've seen that in our lifetime. We've seen a Great Depression. We've seen the economy fall, 2008. We've seen wars. We've seen, greed. We've seen Sodom and Gomorrah. They've normalized that now, right? Everything that if I think about it, everything that we, in my generation, I'm just going to talk about Generation X, but we could talk about the baby boomers too. Everything that had happened up until now has repeated itself. Have you guys noticed that? So my point is, if you're a believer of the gospel of Jesus Christ and the Old Testament, the coming of Jesus Christ and the gospel of Jesus Christ, why are you so concerned about whatever is going on? All of this is supposed to happen. Now, I'm not saying sit back and, you have a loved one going down the wrong path. No, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do at the same time. But I'm glad because, this thing tells me Jesus is right around the corner. So when I see people getting upset at politics, we can all agree it's going to take Jesus to fix these problems and God. It's going to take Jesus and God to fix these problems because man can't do it. Time and time again, man has failed to solve the problems that God has told us from day one. Have faith in me and everything will be fine. But just like the Israelites of the old Bible, we constantly rebel. And what kills me about the Israelites of the old Bible is the fact that when he was leading them out of Egypt, they saw the miracles. They saw them, the pillar of fire that destroyed the Egyptians. They saw the Red Sea being parted. They saw these things. And they still wanted a king. They still wanted to do their own thing. Blessed is he that did not see but still believe. And I'm just going to say this to you guys, my friends, family. Have faith. Donald Trump isn't the worst thing we've ever seen. It isn't. Nor is it our concern. The good thing is, and I know some of you guys keep cursing me out and sending me nasty messages and stuff, especially you feminazis. The good thing is, when you're at the bottom of an economic system, it doesn't matter. Has your life changed? Now, individually, you have some black people that have a lot to lose. But black people as a whole, as a people, we haven't lost nothing. Nothing has changed for us. I still saw people down at the Mardi Gras parade partying like there's... And? 2008 housing crisis, black people were like, and? Even though we lost a third of all black wealth was lost during that time, and those are the people that had something to lose. But overall, black people, there's nothing to be afraid of. We ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing. There's nothing to be afraid of. I know we like to fool ourselves. Oh, yeah, man, I got money. I'm doing all this here. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Some of us, don't get me wrong, that's a small group of the black community that has something. And it's mostly the boule. It's mostly the boule. They keep talking about what they do in the community. If they're doing so much in the community, and the boule has been around for over 100 years, why are black people in the condition that we're in? The Talented Nine? What's happening here? I thought the Talented Nine was supposed to take that knowledge that they have, come back and teach everybody else, have our own businesses, and, we invest in ourselves, but they're not doing that. Do you guys realize that black wealth has grown 3% since the 1960s? 3%. Don't get me wrong. Black people have a lot of money. We have almost $2 trillion a year in the black community, that cycles in the black community. And we give 96 to 97% of it away to the other groups. Fact. It's just a fact. But I've got some cousins that are graduating this year, so congratulations to all those young people, nephews, nieces, and I'm not just talking about my blood family, I'm talking about my family. Okinawa, guys that are graduating, that's something to do. Congratulations. I wish you guys a lot of luck. It's rough out there, but remember the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield? I'm going to give you guys the best advice he gave us in the movie. Stay home as long as you can. It's rough out here. It's rough out here. That trash that your parents want you to take out, and the little chores that they give you, and that little curfew that they give you, I'll take that any day than having to grow up and deal with what I'm dealing with unprepared. Take some advice, you guys. Stay home as long as possible. Military is not for everybody. Never going to say it is. And I would tell people, if you're not going to join the military, I do think that a formal education is important, but it's not worth going into debt to where you're going to be in debt for the rest of your life. Go to that junior college. Do 2 years there, get an associate degree there, and then see where it takes you from there. Then transfer if you want to go to a 4-year. But be realistic. Do not take out a debt when you could go to the junior college. Ask any adult person that took out all of that debt and they're not even working in the field that they studied for. Now, again, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're going to be skilled in a technical vocation, I get it. Being a pilot, you're looking at least $250,000 to be an ATP pilot. $250,000, and that was back in my day. It might be more now. It might be $300,000, but I know minimum you're looking at $250,000. I try to tell people, yeah, education is still important. Go to a junior college, but for men, go to that junior college, but also learn to work with your hands. Get a vocation. The number one reason why they pulled vocation training out of high schools is because black men were opening businesses in their communities, and it was a way to stop black wealth. That was one of them, one of the main reasons. We were able to feed ourselves and our families because we could, work with our hands, and we stayed within our communities. Remember back in the day, there was always somebody that knew auto mechanics, there was always somebody that knew carpentry, there was always somebody that knew plumbing in the neighborhood. And they'd come over and, just do a little job, whatever, and the money stayed in the community. But they pulled that out as a way that black people have no skill to open a business like that. True story. It's one of the reasons why they pulled it out. Because what other reason, why would you pull something out of a high school? Because not everybody's built for college, right? Not everybody's built for college. So why would you pull it out? So that people can't feed themselves. or their families. Young men cannot open businesses, especially in the black community. Has the Democratic Party done anything about that? No, they refuse. This is a party that we are in Stockholm Syndrome. We are in an abusive relationship with the Democratic Party. We are in love with our oppressor. It's true. And I wish you guys would wake up. Some of you guys have. At the end of the day, you can't defend the bullshit anymore. But we are in an abusive relationship. And I don't even understand why women that are hardcore Democrats and are feminists don't get the parallel. If you will not stay in an abusive relationship with a man, why would you stay in an abusive relationship in a party that does nothing for you or your children? And I always have to bring up the woman, because a community and a culture could only go as high as the woman. The white culture puts the white woman on a pedestal. The white culture puts the white woman on a pedestal. Oh, that's bullshit, Donovan. That's bullshit. Oh, is it? Go read your history. There have been wars fought because of white women. There has been people killed because of white women. Emmett Till, ring a bell? Whole towns have been bombed by the government because of white women. Rosewood, anybody? These stories are out there. These are factual stories. And I want you guys to be angered enough to wake up and know the truth and teach the truth to your children. It's going to get interesting. These next 4 years is going to be very, very interesting. I love history. You guys that know, I'm a history person. I love it. I know I'm good at aeronautics. I know that's aeronautics. I love aeronautics too. But I love history, because when I see history repeating itself, it's amazing to me, because we will not learn. We will not learn from the same mistakes. And in the black community, we keep taking all of our eggs and putting it in the Democratic basket, expecting a different result, and we never get a different result. We get excuses. We get, oh, well, next time, everybody gets pushed before us. Show me in any other cultures where there's opportunity, they're going to let another group of people jump in front of them. Doesn't happen. So anyway, you guys, I am still out and about. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I'm still out and about. I'm still running around. Don't forget to check me out with my homie Dimitri K, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, and even on this channel. I share it on this channel. But I don't want you guys to be afraid anymore. Stop being afraid, especially if you've got black skin. There's nothing to be afraid of. Now, to all my other friends, if you're Asian, you guys got nothing to be worried about. You got a protection bill under a black vote. Asians are the richest group of people in the United States, and they've got a federal bill to protect them under a black vote. So I'm not worried about my Asian friends. My Hispanic friends, I get it. It sucks what's going on. But here's my question. When they were locking up black people under the Joe Biden crime bill, 1994, it is said statistically over 1 million black people were incarcerated under that bill, because it incentivized states to incarcerate people for the prison industrial complex. I didn't hear one Hispanic person saying anything. Now, I live in California, which is very close to Mexico, and there's a lot of Hispanics here. And I love my Hispanic friends, and nothing against them. I give them the best advice I can give them. My council member, she's a phenomenal woman, and she's of Hispanic descent, right? She's phenomenal, right? We disagree on some stuff, but she's phenomenal. But, and I got to put but in there, you hear on the news how it's not right. Even on YouTube, you go to some channels and they go, oh, it's not right that they're separating families. So let me get this straight. This person breaks the law, and because they have a family, they shouldn't deal with the consequences. So I'm just going to say this, because I've got some phenomenal friends. I do. And I'm not a heartless person, but I'm just trying to use logic. When they were locking up all of those black people in the 90s, and even till this day, wasn't the government separating families? That black person did a crime. He's a father, and you put him in a cage from his family. So what's the difference? Could somebody please in the chat tell me the difference between separating a person who does any crime? I don't care what your color is or what your cultural background is. If I'm in a car with my children and I'm speeding and I have a warrant, the cop pulls me over and stops me. I have a warrant and he arrests me. Is not the cop justified in separating me from the child? Because in this country, you can't put innocent people in jail. Usually, I go in handcuffs. They call somebody to come get the child, or the state comes in until somebody could come get the child, or whatever the deal is. So what's the difference? Oh, they're separating families. Isn't that what they did to black people and a lot of Americans in the 90s? Logic. Where's the logic anymore? That's what I'm wondering. Where's the logic? Oh, they're separate. Doesn't anybody care? I mean, you see it here in California all the time on the news channels and on YouTube, where you see the ICE agents are raiding and the legal, well, it's usually the women that are screaming. The fathers that might be legal and the mother might be illegal. The father doesn't say a word. The husband doesn't say a word. He doesn't even say anything because that's the process, right? So where was the outrage in the 90s when all of these mostly black people were being separated from their families? See, so whenever I hear somebody say that, I kind of shake my head, because now, wait, you didn't say nothing when we were in duress. Now you're in duress and you expect us to do something about it. That's why when I get calls and people tell me something about what's going on in their situation, I totally ignore it. I give them the best advice I can give them, but I ignore it. No, Donovan is not coming out there and doing this. And I would say, all you people out there, mind your business. I tell a lot of black people what is going on between Trump and the Hispanic community is between Trump and the Hispanic community. Stay out of it. You guys remember in that movie, Which Way Is Up, Richard Pryor? Remember he was in the field work and he was picking oranges and stuff like that. And remember Pops, when he played the role of Pops? What did he say? That's between the Mexican and the white folks. Same thing. It's between the Mexicans and the white folks. Black people need to stay out of it. I'm not trying to make fun of a serious situation, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, you guys. When black people were being incarcerated, nobody stood up for us. Nobody worried about our families. And because of that, look at how our families are continually being damaged. Everybody, even the United States government, has acknowledged that the CIA put crack cocaine into the black communities to fund the Contras in El Salvador and all that stuff that was going on down there. Look at the damage that did to the black community. But you didn't hear anybody say anything about it when they were locking up all the crackheads and all the separating the families that were left. All of this stuff, you guys, is supposed to happen. And if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, then you have nothing to worry about. All you have to do is mind your business, sit back, and watch the show. Watch God do what God does. And that is my saving grace. I'm not afraid. What's going to happen is going to happen. But we have to look at stuff for the way it is. And when you see people out here, remember, even in Jesus' time, John the Baptist, he was telling people, the signs are here. Prepare for God's coming. Jesus is coming. How many people were prepared? And I'm not a religious zealot, you guys. I'm not. But I am a believer. And it would be remiss of me not to give you guys the best advice I can give you. Man ain't going to solve these problems. Donald Trump is not the problem.